Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support this report on expenditure of the Consolidated Fund Services under the Supplementary Estimates for Financial Year 2023-2024. Honorable Speaker, before I even go to the substantive debate, Honorable Speaker, allow me to thank the 12th Parliament to have thought it fit that, Honorable Speaker, they came up with this very good committee that now is able to bring out the issues touching on Consolidated Fund Services as a standalone report. Honorable Speaker, my colleagues who have joined us in the 13th Parliament might think it was normal. This used to be an annexure in the main report. We never used to debate it like this. It's a good thing that, Honorable Speaker, the 12th Parliament thought it wise, and indeed, I want to appreciate what happened, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, allow me to appreciate the committee to have brought up a very salient issues that are touching on the consolidated CFS, Honorable Speaker, and I want to be very particular and appreciate the level at which, Honorable Speaker, both the macro and microeconomic features are playing into the market today. Honorable Speaker, we look at the President's speech. He really confirmed to the House and the nation at large that, Honorable Speaker, he intends to settle the Eurobond. What are we trying to look at, Honorable Speaker? The Eurobond, having been a figure of about 241 billion, in this supplementary estimates, Honorable Speaker, it's being budgeted for at 330 billion. A whooping increase in amount of money we are going to meet as Kenyans. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, it means we must really get a good light at the CFS, Consolidated Fund Services, so that we can be able to tell where are we going. Honorable Speaker, I want to appreciate the committee, especially having considered it wise to tell Kenyans what is it that is happening when it comes to the expenditures of especially salaries. Look at what the media is talking about. On and off, it talks of some budgets which are not existing, some budgets of salaries which are beyond what has been budgeted. But, Honorable Speaker, the committee considering it wise to invite now the Office of the Auditor General. That is the only person who can tell us true numbers. Are they negatives? Are they positives? It's a good thing, Honorable Speaker, that now the Auditor General can look at the numbers and tell Kenyans, not just for this financial year, but let it be a 5-year drawdown and say these numbers reflect what was budgeted for and can compare and contrast the two. Honorable Speaker, we need to look at what is it that is happening to the CFS. Where is our funds going? We look at, Honorable Speaker, the funds are getting depleted out of the Forex. And when you look at the issues touching on Forex, Honorable Speaker, I wish to invite the PS of the National Treasury, who at one time in the recent past said that the shilling is not able to be stable simply because the shilling was protected in the previous regimes. Honorable Speaker, he is a statesperson, he is a very educated doctor, and we want to really thank him for that, but invite him to also make sure he puts in measures to protect our shilling. The only thing we know is a Kenyan shilling, Honorable Speaker, not to let the shilling to fall for free. Let it be resistant, let it be stable, let the shilling trade among other exchange currencies in the world where we can appreciate. If we allow the shilling to have a free fall the way it was going, Honorable Speaker, it is an issue that we have to really be concerned as Kenyans, and we want to invite him to the table, which now looks at it and say, no, the shilling must not fall. And Honorable Speaker, after all these considerations, we must also appreciate that at what level do we now support the government? At what level should we now oppose the government? We must come, when it comes to exchange rate, Honorable Speaker, we must produce what to sell outside the country. We are an agricultural organization, country. Let us support it in terms of what we can be able to export and earn foreign exchange, Honorable Speaker. Let us also look at what we can get, how we can get resources, Honorable Speaker. We want to see more budgeting going to agriculture, Honorable Speaker. Let us see, are we able to even produce enough sugar to consume and export part of it? That should be the position, Honorable Speaker. Are we able to produce more maize and export? That should be the position, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, if we can do that, definitely we are going to raise our foreign exchange earning, and the balance of payment is going to shift in favor of our country. Let us support the budgets when it comes to the issue of
John Mutunga.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity to also add my voice to this, Honourable Speaker. From the look of things, Honourable Speaker, and different from the historical perspectives, countries have grown and developed through borrowing. So it's not abnormal for a country like Kenya to borrow money from international organizations and from even other countries. So debt is inevitable. What's really important is that countries across the world have been able to manage their debts. And we are called upon today as a country to actually look into how can we manage our debt in the best way possible. So Kenya has been able to express its debt in various ways. Initially, we were expressing our debt portfolio in terms of percentage of GDP. And later on, we were convinced that it is also possible to look at debt in terms of absolute figures. And we did recalculate our debt in absolute figures. And later on, much later on, or a few months ago, we went back to percentages of GDP. Now, it is not the way we express our debt portfolio that really matters. What matters, Honourable Speaker, is the management aspect of the debt itself. Debt must be managed. So I stand to support adoption of the report by the committee and cite a few ways in which I believe as a country we can make money and pay our debts. Because where we are right now, we are constrained. Failure to manage debts means failure to develop an economy. With our shillings shrinking or losing value, it means therefore the debt portfolio grows. And sometimes it can be amazing. Let's change a lot more, Honourable Speaker, in generating resources for effective debt management. And Kenya has had opportunities in generating resources in many ways. In the past, and not so far off, we and our agriculture organized. We used to have a coffee quota of 130,000 metric tons in the world market. That 130,000 metric tons brought us foreign exchange. Today, we can barely sell 40,000 metric tons in the world market. So the difference means that we have loss of revenue or loss of foreign exchange, which would have otherwise assisted us in even containing the strength of our shilling. We used to have a thriving pyrethrum industry. Pyrethrum industry in Kenya was leading in pyrethrum sale across the world. We used to supply 70% of the world pyrethrum, the active ingredients in pyrethrum. Today, we can barely talk about supplying 10%. Countries that were far behind us are bypassed us, and they're doing even better. We used to have our coffee selling in larger quantities than probably we have right now. What then do we need to do? Honourable Speaker, we have a few opportunities. And one of the opportunities in the floriculture industry. Can we, as a country, try to Kenyanize this industry? And I want to particularly say this without any fear of contradiction, that we need to a lot more Kenyanize our horticultural and specifically floriculture industry. Because there is capital flight out of this country. Yes, we have farming already happening. We have provided the environment for farming to occur. We have allowed individuals and corporations from other countries to come and do their business here, farming business here in this country. But unfortunately, Honourable Speaker, what happens is that this money goes away. And some of these countries have been assisted by their mother countries to even invest. We need to focus a lot more on reducing the waste, reducing the losses. And if you look at our country, and I want to laud the government, especially the president, for considering to give some money to buy the dryers in the last budget. Because dryers will reduce the post-harvest losses, which has stood up to 40% in this country to lower. Once you contain the farmers having their revenue, then you reduce the need for even
I think just give him another minute to finish.
Thank you very much, Honorable
And
Speaker.
I can use this opportunity to correct you. It's 90% of the world's pyrethrum in the 70s was produced by Kenya.
We are producing 90%.
Not 70.
Okay, thank you very much for the correction. So we need to focus a lot more on reducing the cost of production. Today we are doing a little bit on soil health. We are trying to do something on provision of water. We have done something on good seed, quality seed. Those three factors determine what you can get from the farming processes: quality seed, soil health, and water provision. Right now we are complaining and lamenting because of the El Nino rains. Honorable Speaker, if we had structures to contain this water in this country, Kenya would be another well-watered country. But we have not invested in that direction, so we need to do that. The moment we do that, we shall increase production and productivity, we shall feed our people effectively, and we shall also be able, therefore, to contain the losses in terms of importation of food. And we shall not lose our foreign exchange in that particular respect. We need to focus a lot more on organizing our farmers. Smallholder farmers are scattered across the landscape of this country. They have not invested in storage facilities. We need to focus on investing in storage facilities and aggregation. The more we aggregate, the more we realize the potential for industrialization. The government focus on industrial parks and aggregation and industrial park is a move in the right direction. We will soon realize the potential we have, but we have to be very careful not to allow middlemen alone to use these industrial parks or the storage capacity that the government is creating, because we shall perpetuate the middleman aspect instead of supporting those who are in production. We need to reduce imports in oil crops or oil products because we have the capacity to produce oil in this country. Edible oil, Kenya has a great potential to produce edible oil. At the moment we produce these crops, the waste material goes to livestock feed manufacturing. And that reduces again on importation and therefore the use of the hard currency. So, Honorable Speaker, we have options that we can take as a country. And focus on agriculture is really key. And it has built many countries, not just Kenya. Let us put more money in agriculture and we shall build this country out of the trouble it is in and contain a growth path that is sustainable and reliable. Honorable Speaker, I support.